Okay, we're going to learn how to FTP using the FTP software called Cyberduck, which is free and it's easy to use. You can use it if you have Mac or Windows computer, and you can access it through the FTP module. So if you go to the course and you go to the FTP module, on the first page, what is FTP? You'll see there are a list of different free software that you can use to FTP for this course. So Cyberduck is free software you can download by clicking on this link or going to cyberduck.io. Make sure you don't click on the ad at the top. You'll want to click on this download button here. And then from there, you can either download for Windows or download for Mac OS. It is free, so you don't have to donate anything. You may get some ads or some pop-up modals that are asking for a donation. You can just click next time later and continue to use it for free. So the goal of FTP is to transfer your files from your personal or private computer to a public server where anyone with access to the URL can view your work. So for the purposes of this course, we are going to use valenciawebstudio.com to practice FTP. So if you go to the URL and then you can navigate to your instructor's course, you'll want to click on the students button. And I'm using an example student here, Vanessa Smith. You'll see that for each student, you will have a list of links for different modules, some extras, and then for project 1 and each checkpoint, and then project 2 as well. So if we, for this example, we're going to upload files to the P1A comp folder for project 1. And if you click on that link right now, you'll get an error or 404 message saying that page is not found. And that's because it's looking for an index.html file in that folder, which we haven't currently uploaded yet. So let's go ahead and FTP. So once you've downloaded and installed Cyberduck, you can go ahead and launch it. It's going to look like a little cute icon like this. And it's going to be blank, or it may go ahead and ask you to open a connection. You can do that by either clicking the plus sign here, or you can click on open connection. And it'll ask you for some credentials. So it's going to ask you for server, a username, and password. And you can find this on the last page of the FTP module, called your FTP login. Now we've listed the web host or the server here. So you can either copy or you can type it in. If you are typing it in, just make sure that you spell everything correctly. So the server, which is a web host, www.valenciawebstudio.com. The username is going to be some form of your last name, 2141@valenciawebstudio.com. Now, because we have multiple students in the class and some of you may have the same last name or different nuances in your names, you can also check the list down below. And just a reminder, if you're manually typing and not copying and pasting, just make sure you double check. And then the password will be up here. And then don't worry about anything else. This is FTP, and we'll go ahead and connect. So it'll give you a status update on the bottom. It may take a moment to connect. You'll also know if you do get this message that it's an unsecured FTP connection, just click continue. You'll know that you've successfully connected because you'll see a similar folder structure that correlates to the links on the Valencia Web Studio site. So you'll see you have folders for extra, mod 5, 6, 7, 8, and then here are your project 1 and project 2 checkpoint folders. So we're going to be using P1A. So if you look right now and you go ahead and expand that folder, there is nothing there. So let's go ahead and transfer some files. Also, if you do experience any issues, you get any error messages when trying to log in, double check that you spelled everything correctly. Now we do create these credentials manually. So pay attention to the error message and reach out. There may have been a human error when we created your username or typed in the password, and there are a limited number of login attempts. So the server will lock you out if you've logged in too many times without success. So just reach out to your instructor if you're experiencing issues. So once you're ready to transfer files, we're going to double check the files that we have on our computer. So I've created this demo folder for this web design course, and we're going to navigate to project 1. And inside my P1A folder, I have my CSS files, images, and this is the whole site right here. So I can view what it looks like from my computer by double clicking and just viewing it in the browser. I have 2 comp images. And then I have a style sheet here that's nested in a CSS folder. Here are my images, and here's my index.html file. So I just want to transfer the contents of this folder. I'm not going to transfer the containing folder because there's already one here. And I know that the browser is going to look inside this P1A folder for an index.html file. It's not going to look for another folder labeled P1A. So you want to make sure that you're transferring just the contents. A few other things you also want to check is your naming conventions. Make sure everything is lowercase. A common error that I see is that the index.html file, the I is capitalized, and the browser will not recognize that. So make sure that's lowercase. All these files and file names and folders are lowercase as well, and that there are no spaces or that you're using underscores instead. Make sure you're also using relative file paths. So if you go in your text editor, what that means is a relative file path is that the links that you're referencing or images that you're referencing inside your HTML are accessing folders that are within the containing folder, and they're not going to like a documents or a C hard drive to access any additional files. So you want to make sure that they're all relative and contained inside inside this P1A folder. So once you've double checked all that, also make sure your images are formatted for web and they're optimized, then you're ready to transfer. So you can just, let's see, let's close this out. We're just going to go ahead and select all these files and folders, and we're going to click and drag them into the P1A folder. So we're just going to go ahead and continue. And it will take a moment to FTP. Once those are done, we're going to double check that public link on the Valencia Web Studio site. Looks like everything was successful. And we can make sure that that's live by going to this link here. Yep, and it looks like all our files are there. It doesn't look like there are any broken links. I can view all the images. Everything looks good. So if there are any issues and you're not seeing what you want to see, you can go back to the FTP module, and there are some troubleshooting tips here. So one of the biggest errors that I see are from typos. And then make sure that you're not transferring that containing folder. It's going to look for that index.html file. You'll also want to note that you do have a maximum quota of the file size for the whole semester. You can only upload a total of 100 megabytes to the server within your folder. So if you do get an error message that says that you exceeded that quota, it's up to you to make sure that you're optimizing your images for web. Another thing that may be an issue is if you are replacing files that you already uploaded and you just want to like upload an image or something and you're maybe seeing an old version, what you can do is a hard refresh. So the browser could be pulling a cached version of the site. So if you hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and then click on the refresh button, what it'll do is refresh and pull the latest files from your FTP folder. So if you're experiencing any other issues, you can't figure it out, just reach out to your instructor and we'll help you troubleshoot. Just let us know what error message you might be receiving, or specifically what the error you might be experiencing. So once you're ready to submit your project, what you can do is just copy this public link right here, and you'll submit that to your discussion or the assignment area.